Hello students, welcome back. In the previous video, we have continued with the reading of the text with its detailed analysis. Until now, we have read pages 25 till 29. In this session, I will continue with the reading of pages 30 till 33 with its detailed analysis. By the end of this session, you will be able to analyze the text. Students, keep one thing in mind, that you have to read the text again so that you can quote important keywords and lines from the text. Before reading, let us see the objective of this session. By the end of this video, you will be able to learn the impact of the competition from big firms on Gessler Brothers' business. You will know about the death of Elder Gessler, the other important aspects of the story, that is hardships faced by Gessler Brothers, quality consciousness and commitment to excellence. Now let us start with the reading of the text. To get away from his reproachful eyes and voice, I hastily remarked. Reproachful, expressing blame for criticism, hastily, quickly. So in this opening paragraph, we have read that there was disappointment in one of Gessler Brothers' eyes, and therefore the narrator said what had they done to the shop, as everything seemed to be changed, as if they were not able to maintain it. What have you done to your shop is a question asked by the narrator to Gessler Brothers. He answered quietly, "It was too expensive. Do you want some boots?" So, answering in German accent, the Gessler brothers said that the maintenance of the shop was too expensive for them and they didn't have enough money because people don't come to Gessler Brothers, rather they go to large firms for getting shoes. Continuing his conversation, he asked the narrator if he wanted any boots. I ordered 3 pairs, though I had only wanted 2, and quickly left. I, who is I here? I refers to the narrator of the story. The narrator felt pity on Gessler Brothers' condition. That is why he ordered 3 pairs of shoes, though he wanted 2, and left the shop immediately. I do not know quite what feeling of being part in his mind of a conspiracy against him, or not perhaps so much against him as against his idea of boot. Conspiracy, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Gessler Brothers were thinking that the narrator was conspiring, was plotting against them, and he did not have any affectionate feeling towards them or towards their boots. One does not, I suppose, care to feel like that. That here refers to the conspiracy. So he thought that a person does not have such feeling of conspiracy in his mind. For it was again many months before my next visit to his shop, paid, I remember, with the feeling, oh, well, I can't leave the old boy, so here goes. Perhaps it will be his elder brother. So he went to their shop after many months, as his last ordered shoes lasted long. We have read in the previous paragraph that he had ordered 3 pairs of shoes that lasted very long, and he had a feeling that he could not leave the old boy. Who is the old boy referred by the narrator here? The old boy here is referred to Elder Gessler brother. Why does the narrator feel that he can't leave the old boy? The narrator feels that he can't leave the old boy because he is struggling for survival. For his elder brother, I knew, had not character enough to reproach me even dumbly. Reproach means express to someone or express to one's disapproval of or disappointment in their actions. He just wishes it is his elder brother this time because he feels that he can't face the younger Gessler brother. His elder brother did not know to disapprove others, and he could not do it even intentionally or unintentionally. Now let us see the next paragraph. And to my relief in the shop, there did appear to be his elder brother handling a piece of leather. Well, Mr. Gessler, I said, how are you? He came close and peered at me. Peered, looked with difficulty. Exactly what the author had imagined had happened. The younger Gessler brother was not there. He saw the elder Gessler brother handling a piece of leather. He might be making a shoe for someone. So, he thought that the elder Gessler brother was working with a piece of leather. He greeted him, and Gessler brother came closer to identify the narrator as he was aged and could not recognize him immediately. I am pretty well, he said slowly, but my elder brother is dead. He replied him that he was pretty well and informed him that his elder brother had died. And I saw that it was indeed himself, but how aged and wan. Wan means weak. And never before had I heard him mention his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, Oh, I am sorry. Murmured, say something in a low voice. The narrator was surprised on seeing younger brother's condition. That is, he had gone weak and aged. Whenever the narrator went to their shop, the younger brother had not talked about his brother. But here, he informed the author that his elder brother had died. Yes, he answered. He was a good man. He made a good boot, but he is dead. And he touched the top of his head, where the hair had suddenly gone as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother, to indicate, I suppose, the cause of death. Who is the poor brother here? Poor brother here refers to elder Gessler brother. So this dialogue is being spoken by the younger Gessler brother. The younger Gessler brother, on remembering his elder brother, said that he was a good man and made good boots. While talking about his brother, he touched the top of his head, where he himself had very thin hair, like his brother. He was indirectly telling the cause of his death. He could not get over losing the other shop. Do you want any wood? And he held up the leather in his hand. It is a beautiful piece. So here in this paragraph, the younger brother is telling the reason of his brother's death. He disclosed the reason of elder brother's death, that he could not bear the shock of losing one of their shops. They had to give away one of their shops because of industrial revolution, because of the arrival of the big firms. He was distressed and eventually he died. Continuing the conversation, the younger Gessler brother asked the narrator if he wanted to buy any boots. I ordered several pairs. It was very long before they came, but they were better than ever. The narrator ordered several pairs of shoes because he felt very bad, as Gessler brothers' business was shrinking and they were getting destroyed. The shoes which he ordered were of excellent quality. One simply could not wear them out, and soon after that I went abroad. So the shoes which he ordered were of excellent quality and they were so much durable that it could not be worn out, because those shoes were made with lot of dedication by younger Gessler brother. And after that time he went abroad. Who went abroad? The narrator went abroad. It was over a year before I was again in London. So after a year he came back to London. And the first shop I went to was my old friend's. So whose first shop he went in London? It was his old friends. And can you tell me who are his old friends? Yes, the Gessler brothers. I had left man of 60. I came back to one of 75, pinched and worn, and tremulous, means shaking or quivering slightly, who genuinely this time did not at first know me. So now we will be told about the condition of Gessler's brother when the narrator came back after a year's gap. When the author last visited him, that is a year before, he was a man of 60 years. But now, when he met him, he seemed to be of 75. It means that within a year he looked so old and he had lost control over his body. That is why he is shaking. At this point of time, he genuinely did not recognize the narrator, as memory also fades as one grows old. "Oh, Mr. Gessler," I said, sick at heart, "how splendid your boots are! See, I have been wearing this pair nearly all the time I have been abroad, and they are not half worn out. Are they?" Splendid, excellent, worn out, damaged or shabby to the point of being no longer usable. The narrator was observing Mr. Gessler and he was feeling bad at his condition. So he started praising about his shoes to make him feel good. That is why he said all these words. And these words were not merely words, it was reality even, because the shoes were made of excellent quality. Now let us see the next paragraph. He looked long at my boots, a pair of Russian leather, and his face seemed to regain steadiness. Regain, to get again, steadiness, firmness. He looked long means to stare. The younger Gessler stared at the pair of Russian leather. Those were the shoes which were worn by the narrator. On seeing those shoes, his face got firmness. Why his face got firmness? Because on seeing those pair of shoes, he remembered something. Now let us continue with the reading. Putting his hand on my instep, he said, "Do they bid you hail? I had trouble with that pair, I remember." Instep, the part of a person's foot between the ball and the ankle. On seeing the shoes, he remembered that while making those pair of shoes, he had a problem at the instep. That is why he confirmed from the narrator that if he had any problem while wearing those shoes, though he was old aged, but still he remembered what had he made. I assured him that they had fitted beautifully. So the narrator assured him that those pair of shoes had not caused any problem to him. "Do you want any boots?" he said. "I can make them quickly. It is a slack dime." So the younger Gessler, he asked a question from the narrator that if he wanted another pair of shoes, he is having slack time. Slack means downfall. Because there were lack of customers, he didn't have so many customers with him. So he asked the narrator if he could make any other pair of shoes for him, as he had a lot of time. Now let us see the next paragraph. I answered, "Please, please, I want boots all round, every kind." So the narrator, in order to help Gessler brothers, he asked for more boots. "I will make a fresh model. Your foot must be bigger." And with utter slowness he traced round my foot and left and felt my toes, only once looking up to say. Traced means copy by drawing over its line on a superimposed piece of transparent paper. As he was the shoemaker, so when the narrator ordered him few more pair of shoes, he again traced his foot on a piece of paper. Did I tell you my brother was dead? So earlier we have read that the younger Gessler brother, he informed narrator about his brother's death, and we have continued with the reading that because of old age he seemed to forget various things. That is why he didn't recognize the narrator who was his frequent customer. Now again he is asking from the narrator that if he had told him that he had informed him about his brother's death, it means that he forgot. Now let us continue. To watch him was painful. So feeble had he grown, I was glad to get away. Feeble, lacking physical strength, especially as a result of age or illness. So when the Gessler brother asked him the question, the narrator saw the pain in his eyes, and he had also seen his physical condition. So he was feeling relieved while leaving that place, because if he would be there anymore, he would feel more pain for Gessler brother. Now see the next slide. I had given those boots up when one evening they came. Opening the parcel, I set the 4 pairs out in a row. Then one by one I tried them on. There was no doubt about it. So when he had ordered several pair of shoes, he forgot that he might be getting it or not. But one evening he got the delivery in which the 4 pair of shoes came. So how many pairs he reordered? He reordered 4 pairs of shoes. Then he tried them and they were again made excellently by Gessler brother. In shape and fit, in finish and quality of leather, they were the best he had ever made me. So he had not compromised on the quality of the product, on the finish, the outcome of the product, and the fitting. So everything was perfect. So students, remember one thing, that Gessler brother, they were famous for making excellent shoes, and in this phase where their business was getting down day by day, they did not compromise with the quality of the product. Now let us continue. And in the mouth of one of the town walking boots, I found his bill. So what he found in those boots, he found the bill. The amount was same as usual, but it gave me quite a shock. He had never before sent it in till quarter day. I flew downstairs and wrote a check and posted it at once with my own hand. He had ordered many shoes earlier also, but he did not receive the bill at that time only. But this time when he received the shoes, there was the bill. So he came to know that it was a signal that there was a need of money for the younger Gessler. So he quickly wrote a check and posted on his name. Let us see the next paragraph. A week later, passing the little street, I thought I would go in and tell him how splendidly he knew boots fitted. But when I came to where his shop had been, his name was gone. Still there, in the window, were the slim pumps, the patent leather with cloth tops, the sooty riding boots. Sooty riding means a boot made to be used for horse riding. So after a week, when he was crossing the place, he thought to meet the younger Gessler brother, as he was their frequent customer. When he went over there was little bit change. What was the change? His name was gone. The name, what was the name? The Gessler brothers. It was gone. But still he can find there the shoes lying in the window. I went in, very much disturbed. In the 2 little shops, again made into one, was a young man with an English face. We had read it earlier, students, that because of the financial crisis, the Gessler brothers had to lose one of their shop, and because of that loss, the elder brother died. But now when the narrator went again into their shop after a week, when he received the shoes, he found that again two shops were combined and they were made into one shop. But now he was not able to find the same face. Whose was the same face? The face of younger Gessler brother. Now he saw there a young man with an English face. So there is a change. Now let us see who was that English man. Mr. Gessler in, I said. He asked for Mr. Gessler. He gave me a strange, ingratiating look. Ingratiating? A look expressing desire to gain favor. No, sir, he said. No, but we can attend to anything with pleasure. We have taken the shop over. You have seen our name, no doubt, next door. We make for some very good people. So this was the offer made by the Englishman present in the shop. He asked for any favor, means he asked that if he could help the narrator in making the shoes. Yes, I said, but Mr. Gessler. So he asked about Gessler. He was curiously waiting for the answer that what he will be saying about Gessler brother. Oh, he answered that. So he informed the narrator that younger Gessler brother also died. Now let us see the next paragraph. Dead, but I only received these boots from him last Wednesday week. Ah, he said, a shocking go. Poor old man starved himself. Starved, died due to hunger. So the narrator asked that as he had received the order just last Wednesday and he came this week to meet Gessler brother, so he was very much disturbed at that moment. So the Englishman present there, he informed him that how did the Gessler brother died? He died due to starvation. He died due to hunger. Good God, slow starvation. The doctor called it. You see, he went to work in such a way. Would keep the shop on, wouldn't have a soul touch his boots except himself. When he got an order, it took him such a time. People won't wait. He lost everybody. And there he would sit going on and on. We'll say that for him. Not a man in London made a better boot. So the Englishman informed the narrator that the doctor had declared the cause of Gessler brother death, that was slow starvation. He informed him that his commitment to his work was so strong that he gave himself no time to eat and relax. When he got an order, it took him such a time. He take a lot of time in making shoes. Children, now in this time of competition, people, they don't wait. If you are delivering a product at a very late time, if it is delayed, what they will do, they will switch to another place. So this thing happened with Gessler brother. As he took a lot of time to complete his order, he lost his customer. Though he made an excellent quality shoes, but his customers were declining day by day. Now let us see the next paragraph. But look at the competition. He never advertised. Would have the best leather too and do it all himself. Well, there it is. What could you expect with these ideas? So, in the phase of competition, where it is very high, at that time in London, many big firms, they were advertising their products. But Gessler brother, they did not believe in advertisement. They only believe in quality of the product. And as a result, his idea totally flopped. But starvation, that may be a bit flowery, full of elaborate or literary words and phrases. As the saying is, but I know myself, he was sitting over his boots day and night, to the very last. You see, I used to watch him, never gave himself time to eat, never had a penny in the house, all went in rent, and leather. How he lived so long, I don't know. He regularly let his fire go out. He was a character, but he made good boots. So, here we are informed that I have discussed with you earlier also, that he was so committed to his work that he gave himself no time to eat and relax. Even he did not have a penny in the house. All his profit went in giving rent and buying the best quality leather. In his mind, commitment to his work and satisfaction of his customer far outweighed his own needs. And children, he finally died of slow starvation. Yes, I said, he made good boots. And I turned and went out quickly, for I did not want that youth to know that I could hardly see. Could hardly see how? Because he was crying at that moment. Who was crying? The narrator. The narrator was crying at that moment, and he did not want the youth. Who is the youth here? The Englishman who had occupied the shop of Gessler Brothers. He did not want that youth to see that he was crying. So when the narrator was informed that Gessler brother had died due to slow starvation, he left the place with teary eyes. So thus the story poignantly describes the woes of the artisans who did not go with the tide by adopting new methods of production initiated by the Industrial Revolution and led to their downfall. So children, here our story ends. So in this session we have completed the reading of our text. Your homework is to do question 1. In the story Quality, Mr. Gessler was destroyed but not defeated. Do you agree with this statement? Justify your answer with examples from the story. The hints of the related question will be sent in your SNAP homework. So you have to write the answer by following those points. Children, remember one thing, that you have to reread the text to quote the important keywords and lines from the text. So keep reading the text for scoring good marks in your papers.